just how surprising was this win with the Chargers just essentially beating the brakes off the Bengals on the road?
I mean, I don't necessarily think it is a shock by any means. I mean, we both predicted LA to win. So I'm not going to sit here and, make it out to be like, oh my goodness, I can't believe they went out there and blew them out. It was more along the lines of it was an expected win. It's just how dominant it was is a little bit more of the wow, like kind of like a head turner. But Joe Burrow got hurt in the first quarter with a dislocated pinky in his throwing hand. Again, I'm not making excuses, but that does affect how a quarterback can throw the ball. You were able to see visibly on the sideline he was in pain the entire game, and it affected how he threw the football. So I'm not going to go out there and say that made that much of a difference to go out there and lose by 19 points. But, a couple of throws could have potentially been made. And the offensive line play was atrocious. Joe was sacked 6 times. Joe Mixon had that crucial fumble in the third quarter in which the Bengals were driving. It looked to be like they were going to go out there and take the lead because they scored 22 unanswered points after the Chargers went up 24-0. So I think that kind of blew all of the momentum out of the air balloon, out of the hot air balloon. It kind of deflated in and of itself, and the Chargers just continued to steamroll and kind of move forward. Because I mean, Cincinnati didn't score any points in the fourth quarter whatsoever, and the Chargers scored 17. Your defense is on the field for the majority of the game. There's not really much you can do. Justin Herbert was able to kind of dice up this secondary, relatively easy. The only thing I will circle, they weren't able to really run the ball too well. LA only had 79 total rushing yards for the game, but on the other side of the ball, or on the other side on the other team, Cincinnati was only able to run for 96 yards. So both defenses were able to at least try to contain the run. Joe Mixon and Austin Eckler, both two very similar running backs and both very effective ball carriers in the league. But it is what it is at that point. LA goes out and wins and moves up to 7-5. But Justin Herbert just seems to be kind of on that track right now, in which he's just carving defenses up, and he looks like he's having fun.
Well, this was a game that, to be quite honest with you, I was kind of surprised at how it played out because, if I remember correctly, I ended up picking the Bengals to win this game.
Oh,
And
he did.
yeah, I did. And
Oh,
I was kind of surprised at how bad they just got run off the field in this game. To be quite honest with you, the Chargers got off to a great start. Going up 24-0, you really can't ask for anything more, especially doing that on the road. But I got to give credit for the Bengals fighting back in the later stages of the second quarter and going into the third quarter. But to be quite honest with you, this was a game that I thought was a little bit more sloppier than I originally anticipated because if I remember correctly, the Chargers turned the ball over 3 times in this game. They lost 2 fumbles, and they also had an interception from Justin Herbert. And then on the flip side, Cincinnati was careless with the football as well. They lost 2 fumbles as well, similar to the Chargers. And then Joe Burrow had 2 interceptions. So this was a game where you could definitely see some inexperience and you could definitely see the youth as far as the quarterback play goes and just inability to have solid ball security throughout the entire game. And I thought that the Chargers were able to really punish the Bengals in that regard because, like you mentioned, to me, this game flipped in that third quarter fumble with the Bengals. You take that away, the Bengals could honestly have pulled off maybe 30 unanswered points against the Chargers. But it's like you said, once the Bengals had lost the momentum on that turnover, the Chargers punished them for it. Going on a 17-0 run in the fourth quarter, it's ball game. And even though that this was going to be probably one of the more anticipated matchups between just the young quarterbacks in Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert, this is a game when I really kind of look back at it. I thought Justin played a lot better than Joe, but you could still tell that there's some inexperience as far as both of these quarterback goes, as far as both of these quarterbacks go, excuse me. But all in all, I thought Justin outplayed Joe. I thought Justin played played a solid game overall, but still, there's still some inexperience showing from both quarterbacks. But all in all, Justin did enough to get the Chargers the win as far as just getting points on the board. And I will say, the Chargers are sitting at 7-5 right now. I don't know if they're going to be able to overtake the Chiefs in the AFC West. There still is a month left of football left to be had. So never say never. But the main thing moving forward, really for both quarterbacks, is just consistency and just limiting the turnovers. So it's really the best thing I could say moving forward. But this is a good win for the Chargers, and it does keep them in the mix, not only in the AFC West, but I think they have a good shot of making the playoffs moving on from this point forward. That's just kind of how I see it.